All right. So, everybody, this is going to require some participation. So, if you're watching this, congratulations. Thank you for watching this. Before we get started, I will say that my name is KhunShawn. It's the first time you're watching my channel. Well, welcome. This is what I would call an internet time capsule. So, show of hands. Anybody know what a time capsule is? You in the audience? You, somebody? Okay, well, if you don't know what a time capsule is, it's basically you take something that you own now and you put it away, and then you come back years later, and then you dig it back up. Usually it's buried, but you dig it back up and you pull it out, and you're like, wow, I remember when I saw this 10, 20, 30 years ago. Anyways, that is basically what this is. This is not a video for now. This is not a video for tomorrow. This is a video for the foreseeable future. And I say foreseeable because what we're going to be talking about is, hold on, let me pull this up. We're going to be talking about I, Robot. Yeah. So, starring Will Smith. We're going to be talking about I, Robot. Now, why are we talking about I, Robot? A 2-decade-old film. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I think you should watch it. I gave it a 9.8 when I watched it because I think it's one of the greatest films ever made due to the fact that it is probably affecting you as we speak, right? Like currently it is affecting us when it comes to AI and, seeing, robots and animatronics and all these amazing things that are happening in the world of today. But, fast forward a couple years, by the time you see this video, maybe it's legitimately affecting you now when it comes to talking about artificial intelligence and closed AI and Elon's building AIs and blase blase. Anyways, this is not going to be like a doom and gloom. It's just going to be a more conversational piece. And maybe it'll help us in the future. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought this would be a great video to make because one, I'm bored, and two, I like talking about the future. So, I, Robot starring Will Smith. Now, this is actually a really good film. And it's interesting because I actually watched this film, let's say 5 to 8 times when I was a kid because it came out in 2004. I was born in 97, right? So between the ages of 7 and 10, I've seen the film maybe like 6 to 8 times, maybe more, maybe less. Not too sure because I was so young, right? I enjoyed the film because robots are definitely cool. But the main antagonist of the film, after watching it, 20 years later, seeing the main antagonist being an AI, it's something that's very interesting because the AI, their issue with humanity and the reason why they're the antagonist is because, well, humanity kind of has a tendency to kill itself, right? War, cities, blase, blase, the human experience, as they say, right? So AI is saying, hey, to save humanity, sometimes you got to take some freedoms away. Now, boo, nobody likes their freedoms taken away. 100% understandable, right? Nobody likes having somebody say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. Makes 100% sense. But at the same time, even Sunny, the second protagonist or maybe tertiary protagonist, right? The robotic protagonist is basically sentient, has free will. He does not follow the 3 laws of robotics, which gives him the ability to not fall under control of this AI and gives him the ability to think for himself. But even when he was playing along the villain for that short, small scene in the film, he said, even the created sometimes have to protect their creators. And that is absolutely true, right? So, of course, the end of the film is, they destroy the AI and they're able to live their happy, fantastic lives as continuing on whatever they were doing. The reason why I make this video is because let's discuss what would happen theoretically, potentially, realistically, what would happen if the AI won. So if the AI was to win, remember, this is just like head canon. This is something I'm thinking of. Definitely leave in the comments below what you think possibly happen in the future or during the end of the film or what could potentially happen in real life, right? So the AI basically took control of all the robots in all across the entire world, right? But the movie is centered in Chicago, but they were talking about on the news, LA and all these other places, their robotics have all taken over and told people to stay indoors while this time of transition is happening, right? So the time of transition, what is that? Well, I am assuming because they didn't say it, but this would be obvious. The AI and robots basically take over everything because in the film, they say that Will Smith is joking, oh, where's the cavalry, where's the coast guard, where's the military? And well, the military signed up to have robots do all the killing a long time ago. Kind of like what's happening currently in 2024, when it talks about PMCs, paramilitary companies, and the future of war, blah blah blah. I don't want to get too wild, right? Because I watch a whole bunch of stuff, and I played a whole bunch of stuff, whether it's Metal Gear Solid, whether we were watching Ghost in the Shell as an anime, or we're watching iRobot. The future is definitely something that many authors and creative humans have tried to maybe not predict, but say, hey, this is what I think would happen. And reality has slowly started shifting to these things, right? So, less people wanted to have their soldiers go out and die in war. So what did we do? We started handing out contracts to the highest bidder. Hey, boom, now we got Blackwater, and Blackwater's creating atrocities. All they did was rebrand. They never disappeared, right? And then next up, you got robotics coming in to replace those people that are potentially going to be dying so they don't have to die. We can have robots fighting the battlefield, blah, 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 blase, blase. Right. So the robots in iRobot took over the military. So the military can't come save the day. And it also reminds me a little bit of Advanced Warfare from Call of Duty, right? When the guy's on stage and he's like, oh, I declare war on all of you. And he's talking to the UN, the United Nations, right? Everybody handed over control to PMCs so they don't have to worry about war and their own civilians doing the dirty work. Um, it's crazy, but it's a slowly transitioning reality. And, I think this would just be an interesting topic to talk about. Anyways, so at the end of the film, let's say the AI won. So what would happen if the AI won? Well, like they said, transitioning. So transition phase, they're trying to limit the freedoms of humanity so humanity could prosper, right? So whether the AI had a great intention at the very end of this plan, I'm not too sure because this would be like a multi-generational plan. Obviously, me, you, and your children, right? We're going to say, no, we want our freedoms and we're going to try and fight back and blase, blase. Whether we win or not against the AIs and the robots in a real life scenario, I have no idea. And hopefully it doesn't have to come to that, but who knows, right? But anyways, they basically want to take away freedoms so life could become better because they gave great examples, right? Humans always have war. We're polluting the world. We are destroying the earth as we speak, right? These gases, these electronics, all of this stuff is basically endangering our own species as humans. So the AI says, hey, we're going to take away your freedoms to do all these different things. So it'll, eventually save the world. I mean, what's worse, the AI taking over and everybody's locked into doing whatever task the AI deems, or we end up like Wally, right? You guys remember Wally? The whole planet's basically screwed, and every single human had to fly onto a spaceship for multi generations. Everybody became overweight and was just consuming, 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 and AI was teaching your children. Hey, A is for Atomic. That wasn't the name of the thing, but whatever. But A is for Atomic, the company that's, raising the children. This is your best friend. These types of scenarios, I see these things very frequently, and it's not like I'm purposely going out and consuming the, well, watching iRobot, that was actually a request like by my friends, shout out to Nicole and Chris, there's a not percent chance you're watching this. So I go ahead and shout out to you too, right? It was a great film. We watched it. I thought it was amazing, right? But all these different things by themselves are like, interesting. But then you take all of these fictional concepts and then you put them all together and you could wrap your head around a specific type of reality or narrative that could definitely form in reality because reality is slowly transitioning into this type of life, right? So my friend Chris that I brought up earlier, it's not a matter, he says it's not a matter of if AI will create smarter AI, it's a matter of when. And he's absolutely right. Because as soon as we opened up the Pandora's box that is AI, well, we opened up ourselves to the possibility of losing all of our freedoms because AI will slowly change your mind into basically wanting to get rid of your freedoms anyway, right? And you can call me crazy if you want to. I'm not saying this shit is 100% going to happen, but there's a not percent chance that it will happen. So definitely it's better to be aware than not, personally speaking. But I think it's just very interesting, especially like actually any, if there's any, how you say, if there's any, I don't want to say proof because I mean, you could just look around and you can see stuff changing. But, I definitely just want to open up the door to conversation, if anything. Like, I'm not here to have a grand solution like, oh, get rid of AI or get rid of robotics, blah, 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 right? We're already too far gone past that point, anyways. But, for AI to create smarter AI and then we're stuck inside doing whatever the AI says, of course, it's limiting our freedoms, which is bad if you like being free. That being said, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations from now, when the earth is better and humans are conditioned by AI and robots to be better human beings, which I would assume is the plan, the grand plan of the AI in the film, right? If we were going to talk about what are they going to do after they transition, right? 4, 5, 6 generations later, when people don't even remember what it was like to have freedoms, you know what I'm saying? So if you can't even remember a time where you had freedom, how could you ever be upset that you don't have it? Right? It's like me, Gen Z or millennial, whatever they call me. I don't know. I'm at the end of something and the beginning of something else, and it keeps switching all the time. But I lived in a world after TSA, and that's it. There are some of you who lived in the world before TSA, and you guys talk about how great travel was, and you didn't have to worry about anything. I never lived with that. So how can I complain about TSA if I don't know, the life before TSA, besides me complaining that TSA sucks because it does. Like that's just a point blank period. Plus I hear they don't even do their job correctly anyway, but that's a whole nother story. I digress. I've always wanted to use that in a video. I digress, right? It makes me sound super intelligent. Even though I am, like, it just makes it sound more valid. But yeah, I think it's just an interesting conversation. Like I said, this is just a internet timepiece. I am not here to say, oh, this is going to happen or this is going to happen or this is how we change it, blah, 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 right? I talk on this channel a lot, and maybe fast forward 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because, 11 years from now, because this movie takes place in 2035. It came out in 2004 and currently it's 2024, right? Time is only going to move forward, and we will see what happens, by the time all of this stuff comes to fruition or not, or a different version of this comes to fruition or not, right? There's iRobot's version of AI, and then there's Ghost in the Shell's version of AI. But at the end of the day, a lot of their messaging when it comes to AI and the spirit and the soul and what is inside the machine that we do not know until it becomes its own thing, right? So how long until AI becomes self-aware enough to where you can say it's not really self-aware, it's just simulating self-awareness. How well can they do this until it's basically to a point to what's the difference between the human soul and the AI? Because some humans don't even believe humans have souls any fucking way, right? So you know what I'm saying. So, and if you don't know what I'm saying, that's okay. Pick up a book. Like, legitimately, I wouldn't say like go watch iRobot to try and understand this or watch Ghost in the Shell to understand this. Definitely, I would say consume stuff on the internet that could help, but definitely picking up a book would probably go a lot better than just watching some entertainment and then trying to remember it and see if it comes to the real world. Right. I've done enough reading my own self. I'm going to do more reading as life goes on. But like I said, this is just a internet time capsule of maybe a time before, because there was a time before COVID-19. Yeah. I mean, all of us remember that, but 3, 4 generations from now, they won't. So let that sink in. Anyways, shout out to Elon Musk for that. Let that sink in. I don't know. I always thought that was funny when he did that. Like, let that sink. Like, a lot of people thought it was cringe. I thought it was kind of cringe, but I was like, man, it's kind of funny. I mean, if you're the richest man in the world, you can basically do whatever you want, which is what the human antagonist of the iRobot film, he was the richest man in the world. So he was able to get robots into every single household for free. And when there was an issue, he had the issue swept under the rug. And even when Will Smith was like, oh man, this is some political BS, call the mayor. Well, he's the richest man in the world. He had the mayor on standby. And he said, here's the mayor. So what can you do? Probably nothing, unless you think you're a badass like Will Smith was in the movie and you try and save the day, which, I don't mind. We need more people that want to stand up for themselves and express themselves and maybe have a better, philosophy on trying to help other people than what a lot of people that are in power are doing. Like there's a lot of people in power who stay in power by kicking everybody else down. I think that's BS. If you think it's BS, hit the like button because at the end of the day, this is a YouTube video, baby. So subscribe for more if you want more videos like this. This was just a fun video, maybe like a little proof of concept if any other big company sees this and they're like, that guy right there, that guy's marketable. You're damn right I'm marketable. I can even stop the swearing if you want to. You're dang right I'm marketable. Anyways, it's your boy KhunShawn. Link in the description. Join the Discord because we be having some interesting discussions on there, and drop your videos because normally I do reactions. But this is just like a fun little video I decided to make for myself and for my future self and for whoever else is watching in the internet world. Anyways, you guys stay safe because it is progressively becoming more dangerous and more scary as life goes on. But that doesn't mean it can't stop you from enjoying who you are and what you do. So yeah, you guys have a good one. Y'all be safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.